Hello, welcome. Good morning if you're in Australia. Good afternoon if you're in the United States or Canada or North America. Or good evening if you're in the UK or Europe. So I'm Rob Nixon, and today we are going to be focused on numbers, numbers, numbers. The numbers don't lie. This is all about our annual benchmark report just released today, which is really cool. So 2025 report released today. It is based on 2024 numbers, and super proud, super keen to actually get this to all those participants that actually went in it today. So let's just get some sound checks and things going on. So open up the chat. We're going to be using that a bit today. And just type in the chat, hi from, wherever you're from. I'm from Brisbane, Australia right now. Where are you coming from today? Coming to this from where? So open up the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you, Wendy. Look at all that's it. Oh, this is going mental. I've got a lot of people online here. Adelaide, South Australia. Linda, hi Kyle, good to see you. Dallas, we've got Texas. Danny Meyer, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. We've got Chicago, Michigan. We've got Ottawa. We've got Atlanta. Swift Current, Canada. All right. Is Swift Current a place? I've never heard of that one. Calgary. Detroit. Hey, Richard, good to see you, man. And we've got people coming in from all over the place. Austin, Minnesota, mainly North America. That's cool. That's awesome. And we are good to go. All right, team. So here's how this is going to work. And I'm going to be talking. This is on Zoom webinar, so we haven't got video. I can't see you video-wise. You can see me, hopefully. But I need you to use the chat. We've got a lot of discussion going on today about a lot of topics. I want to make sure you get the highlights from the actual benchmark report itself, but I want you to ask questions. So any question goes. Myself and Wendy Miller online. Wendy is co-coach here with us, where we actually help firms do all sorts of cool things. So use the chat to ask any question you want at any time you want. I'll pause at appropriate times to answer your questions to make sure you're getting the most out of this and make it a real live experience for you. So let's get into it. First of all, you as registrants of this webinar will get a copy of the report as well. It's 47 pages of lots of meat in there. I'm not going to go through the whole report today. I'm going to give you some extra things that aren't in the report that mean things that are in the report, so to speak. So you will get a copy of it today. You'll also get a copy of the slide deck today, right? And you'll also get a copy of the recording as well. What you're not going to get is the questions because that needs to be personal from you. So when you get the report, really important, all right, you get it today, there are 6 things on how to use this report. 6 things. 1, there's lots of tables and data numbers in there, median results, there's best result, there's upper quartile, lower quartile. Don't evaluate one number on its own. For example, you might see an average hourly rate number of $600, which is just over 600 is the peak, and then you might see in the same column, profit per partner of 5.1 million. They are not the same firm, right? That is the best indicator in that table. The case study columns are the ones that are that particular firm. Number 2, once you work out what you're reading, then you need to benchmark your numbers against wherever you are. Wherever there's columns for that, put your numbers in here. In the back of the report, there's the metrics guide. The metrics guide will give you all the equations, so you can work out your own numbers. So in the master data table, put your numbers down the side, right? Benchmark yours. Then remember what the median represents. The median is in the middle, right? So median results middle. You might be below median, above median. Just think of what median is, right? Median is where the worst of the best meets the best of the worst. Another way to say that, excuse my language, it's the cream of the crap, right? Don't go for medium, go for at least upper quartile, so 75%. You need to build a model that works for you. I'm going to be talking about business models today, as far as what it looks like to make $1 million profit per partner. But you might want to go for a high volume model. I want 10 million revenue with 1,000 clients at 10 grand a piece. I want 10 million in revenue with 100 clients and 100 grand each. Right? There's no right or wrong model. It's just what works, what right for you. Number 5. Once you've got your piece put into your data, share the results with the team. That's where we're at, team. On this report, this is where we fit. On all these indicators, show which ones we're good at, which ones we're not so good at, and have a brainstorm with the team. How can we move our numbers to these targets, right? Your model. Get your team engaged in this. That's what I'm saying. And lastly, number 6, follow through. So many times, I've been doing benchmark reports since 2001. That is 24 years, right? I've been working with the accounting profession since 1994, right? I have not had a facelift. I started when I was 10. Kidding, right? I started when I was 24. I'm 56 this year, on the same day as our good friend Richard Pajic, who's actually on the online as well. And I've seen firms go into benchmark reports for years and years and years. They've downloaded tens of thousands of them. And you know what they do? They go, oh, that's where we're at. And that's it. You analyze where you're at, but you don't do anything about it. You don't follow through on the back end. So we are all about helping you, right? And this benchmark report is a piece of content. There's no charge for it. Helping you go on a journey, right? I want to explain what that journey is and then give you a quick early case study on the journey. And again, like deciding what your business model is, you decide where on this journey you get to, at what speed you get to. So part 1 of the journey, step 1, is where you are a practice owner, a practitioner practicing your craft. You've just come out of busy season in North America in mid-April, and typically grinding it out and working way too much in it, working way too much in the business. And the money's okay, but you don't have a huge amount of free time, right? Because there's some big hours in there. That's where we typically start you. As you start there, we get a hold of you, start working with you. And the first thing we want to do with you is flip the switch to business owner mindset. And I've actually got a business here. I don't have an accounting practice, I have an accounting business. It starts with mindset, and then it gets into activity, an activity switch where you are working more on your business than in your business, more working on it than in it. Which means you're not on the tools as much, right? You're not doing what the business does as much. You've reduced dramatically your partner chargeable time, your partner billable time, your partner hours, right? You've hired people in to take some of your jobs over. And now, although you're not in it as much, you've got more money, more time. But that's level 3. Level 3 is what we call investor level. And for those firms that want to get there, that means we've worked with you. Typically, I'm going to show you one in a minute that took 2 years, but most take about 3 to 4 years to get there, where you've gotten yourself out of every job. Partners, right? The partners have gotten themselves out of every single job. So you are currently a part-time client manager, a part-time tax manager, a part-time accountant, you're a part-time marketing manager, you're a part-time salesperson, you're a part-time firm administrator. Partners do part-time roles. I wonder why they call it a partner. Part-time. Just thought that. Maybe. Who knows, right? But if you think about all those roles that you do, they're all replaceable. All replaceable. If you replaced yourself with full-time roles, you'd get a full-time result. And if you replaced yourself, but you still own the equity, then you'd be an owner, but not an operator. An owner, but not an operator. You've got an asset that produces for you as the owner. Why would you sell it? You wouldn't sell that. It's throwing $1 million, $2 million a year. Keep it rolling. Sit on the board. Get a monthly report. Keep it going, guys. Looking good. See you later. I've gone fishing. And now we can create generational wealth. This is doable in your profession, right? Seen it time and time again, working with firms doing it right now, and you decide how fast you get to on each one of these levels, right? You decide your speed, you decide your percentages. You need to know where you're at right now. Of course, that's what this webinar is all about. Where are we at right now? What's the cold, hard reality? The numbers don't lie. That's the name of the webinar, right? I'm going to show you one that went really fast, right? Her name is Shannon Stewart, right? So Shannon, we worked with Shannon for 2 years. She's about to tell you what she did. It's fascinating what she did. When we met her, She was working 3,500 hours a year. Crazy, crazy stuff. Sole owner. 2 years later, 121. Amazing. Just amazing. When we met her, this was a 2-year journey. She was doing roughly $1.5 million in revenue. This recording you're about to see was done literally 6 weeks ago. When we finished with her, as in stopped coaching her, $4 million in revenue. And did it in 2 years flat. She didn't get to investor level in 2 years, but she did this year. 2025, Shannon is completely out of the business, so to speak, doing what the business does. She's got an asset that performs and performs and performs and performs. Let's hear from Shannon as to what she actually did.
Hi, I'm Shannon Stewart from Michigan. I started working with Rob in 2023. We were doing about $1.5 million, and I was working about 3,500 hours a year. So I was killing myself for that $1.5 million. What happened when I joined Rob's organization is I just took their advice. I did what they said to do, even when it was hard. And so we, number one, gave away all of our 1040 orphaned, we called them. And so we got rid of all the 1040, we niched. We then built out a team, and we started with TOA. We started building out a team 100% remote with TOA. And then we increased our fees. And so our average fees right now are around $18,000 per proposal. And we moved everyone to monthly recurring revenue. So we have no problems with AR any longer. That was one of our, we're always chasing people to pay their invoices. And then that novel idea of just charge them monthly came into play. And so we've done that as well. So we were with Rob for 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, some major shifts had occurred. I had gone from being an operator to being an owner, where I basically work a couple hours a week. And now I'm able to go do some other things. So since that time, we ended up our revenue about $4 million at the end of December. And this year, we're actually going to sign a contract with a franchise to provide services for all of their franchise owners. So that will be another $750,000 to $1 million of top line revenue that will be brought on. And the team runs the whole organization. And so we have a great team of individuals who have complete ownership of their roles and their responsibilities, and they're compensated well for that. That gives me the ability to do what I love. And so last week I was on a stage actually speaking to an organization that then, of course, we walked out of there with 20 or 30 prospecting appointments that will be able to actually close and onboard as well. It gave me the opportunity in December to finalize my book and get that published and write another book that will be coming out in the fall. With that, I wrote a chapter in one of Chris Voss's books on tactical negotiation. So working with Rob gave me the ability to actually do what I love, and then allows my team now to do what they love. So everyone gets to be in the vertical that they love, working in their genius, and we're serving our clients. And that's really the end goal, to be paid fairly for what the services that we provide and be able to do what we love. I would highly recommend that if you're on the fence about working with Rob, that you give it a shot. Really, if you're committed to making a change, then you're going to be in the right organization, in the right coaching program to do that.
Pretty cool, huh? We love that one. That's a fast starter. David, good question. What about the margins? 50%, 2 mil. That is pretty cool. A couple of other questions she's got questions here. 18 per client per year or per month? Julie, per year. 18 per year. So average, so not massive clients doing this with. It's a volume play here. Stephen, I read your note before on, and actually, can we, team, when you post a question, can you post it to everyone so everyone can see it, not just to hosts and panelists? But Stephen, I'm going to come back to your question on people when I do the partner section later on. All right, so just stay tuned on that one. Thank you. All right, cool. You're welcome. Okay, so what did Shannon do? Shannon basically followed what we're saying here. It said, as we say to every single firm, you've got to trust us now, believe us later. Today is all about the numbers. Today is definitely about the people as well, but what are the cause and effect of the people? And today is about a journey. And it's every firm we work with starts today. And what I mean by today, they start with knowing what their numbers are. Many, many firms don't know what their numbers are, right? In the metrics guide, we have about 30 different metrics in there that you should all know, right? Most don't know it. So what we do is track the performance of every firm we work with, every firm we coach. And I want to show you 3 slides that are pretty impactful to give you some hope, right? This first 10 minutes, 15 minutes is to set the scene and to give you a bit of hope that what you're doing is on the right track. Looking at this content is on the right track. So here's the a couple of hope slides. Here is what we call our member progress report on revenue, first of all. So we work with firms from typically $1 to $10 million in revenue. 1 is the cut. Average starting mark is 2.3 million, right? Average start 2.3 million. And this is the exact same firm over the journey. So we've coached so far in the last 7 years 202 firms, 202, right? So it's not a big volume play here, and these are the results of all of them over the period, right? And so these are the like-for-like firms, all in a big melting pot as they grow. I was saying, see, revenue 2.3, year 1, these are averages, middle, right? 2.8, 3, and so on. And at year 6, 5.1. Good growth, right? Very good growth. But as someone asked before, what about the margin, right? Because revenue, lovely, right? Revenue is vanity. That's an average CAGR of 14.4% per year. 14.4. Not stellar, but still healthy, right? What about profit? Let's have a look at profit. Same firms. Average profit per partner, starting mark, $386,000. Average profit per partner, starting mark, some high, some low. Average 386. Steady increase. This is 24.4% increase. Sorry, 25.4% increase per year average, which is really cool because I see firms grow by revenue percentage. That happens every year, but their profit margin doesn't outstrip the growth of the revenue margin. So the profit percentage typically goes flat or sometimes backwards. Here, because we're so focused on profitability, profit has gone up, average of 25% thereabouts per year. So same like-for-like firms over a 6-year period from 386 to now 1.5. Shannon jumped pretty quick, from about 350 profit to 2 mil in 2 years. So she's in that melting pot as well. But, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but time is king. You may have heard that saying, cash is king, time is king. So as the profit's going up, the time is coming down. Awesome. The in time by the partners. Average 2,200 hours per year, where you've got partners working in it way too much. Like Shannon was an anomaly. She's at 3,500. Some are 1,500, some are 2,000, 2,200. But we push the time away from the partners to a point where the in time includes client work, charged or not charged, any team, development, firm administration, do what the business does, right? Reviews, etc. So the 481 over a 6-year period actually includes some client delivery time as well. Pretty cool, right? Profits going up while the time's coming down. What this proved, we just cut these numbers a few weeks ago. This shows us that this is not a silver bullet. It all doesn't happen. Like Shannon, what you saw a minute ago, is an anomaly. This takes time. Now, some of you may be asking, why in year 3 does the time go up? Good question you ask, right? Because we had a hunch about this, but when we did all the data back in April, we worked out why it was. Here's why. So time's coming down steadily, boom, and then back. Up it goes another 70 or 80 hours, and then it goes down again. Here's why. So if you look at the profitability in year 3 per partner, $800,000, life's pretty good. Life is pretty good. Life starts to take care of itself. You got debt reduction, better lifestyle, upgrading lifestyle, and partners, even when they work with us, take the foot off the gas, right? They take the foot off the gas, then they get annoyed with that and they go again and reduce the time even further. So we are very, very proud of these 3 slides with real hardcore data, tracking the results of every firm we work with, keeping them accountable, making sure they do what they say they're going to do, feeding them content, feeding them connections, strategies, ideas. And then, by the way, any profit here is before partner salaries, before working capital, but after our costs, right? So that is net result after all investment that you make in your firm as well. So pretty cool, right? Pretty happy about that. We're here to help, right? We want to help you increase your profit and decrease your time, right? We want to help you, right? Directly help you. So basically, if you are now more than $1 million in revenue or $1 million run rate, you've got 1 to 5 aligned partners, you're ambitious and you're coachable. Wendy, I'll get you to put the link in the chat, please, to your calendar. Then let's meet to see if we can help, right? Let's meet. You can either scan the QR code or Wendy's going to put a link in the chat to everyone to actually, book a meeting and just see if we're a fit at all. We've got some capacity right now to help firms really kick their goals. So there's the calendar link. Thank you, Wendy. Awesome. All right, so click on that, book a meeting with Wendy. She's our implementation specialist and coach. She's a certified coach. She'll assess where you are and see if we're a good match or not. So the opening remarks here are very much to give you some hope that over time you can, if you follow, right, what we're talking about here, if you follow, you will increase your profit and reduce your time, of course, with some help from us. Right, so let's get into it. Let's start with the research and the benchmark report regarding key issues, right? Key issues. What were the key issues? No surprises. It was the same as last year. Right? So efficiency number 1, right? We're not efficient enough. It's the thing. Okay, we're going to talk about a couple of these issues, the commonly selected ones. And the thing about all of them, they're all solvable, right? Yes, it's an issue. We are not efficient, right? 70% of all the votes had efficiency, right, as the most commonly selected one. We gave you 3 options. Not enough A-class clients, finding people. Interesting. Not enough A-class clients and finding people. Oh, hot news. Hot news. I should have mentioned at the start. I'm nearly finished book number 5, right? Book number 5 is coming out. Well, my deadline for writing it is next Tuesday. So in the next couple of months, the book is going to be a thumper, right? About 300 pages. You'll be able to get a free copy. We like to give things away for free as far as to help you those that we can't help direct. It's called Profit and Time, subtitle, An Accountant's Guide to Having It All, right? And I did a big section of the book on A-class clients and finding people. That is a marketing problem, right? Finding A-class clients, not waiting for them to turn up, is a marketing opportunity, right? We need marketing people to help us do that. Finding great people. There are tons of great people out there, right? In the United States, the profession employs about 1 million people. The good ones work for someone else, right? The ones you want. Well, the question has to be, why would they switch and work for you? That is a marketing opportunity, right? Solvable. Efficiency. In the new book, and we've done webinars on this, on what we call workflow success. Efficiency is about manufacturing. Efficiency is about, follow the steps that have been outlaid and do it as fast and efficient as possible. Efficiency is about technology, right? Don't moan and groan about efficiency. Do something about it. Throughput, speed, time under budget. Firm we coached with for 3 years up in Toronto. This is awesome, right? They had an efficiency problem. They're called TGC in Toronto. They had an efficiency problem, so they had a 1-year target with their team. And the target was called TUPPY, time under prior year. And so the theme was TUPPY, the goal was 20%. And we've had firms do this over and over again. Neil and Darren from Denman Hamilton did exactly just this, right, in the first 4 months of this year. Time under prior year. 20% was the goal. The reward, because we had to get to 5 million as well, the reward was a trip to Mexico in January for the entire team. They did, and they did. Right? Neil and Darren from Arkansas, I saw them 3 or 4 weeks ago. They said we did the same thing. 20% was the goal. They got 21%, right, for the 4 months, time under prior year. Efficiency is, yes, it's a moan and a groan, but you can do things about it. We've got a 25-step workflow process that you can actually follow on getting more efficient, targeting time under budget, targeting time under prior year, incentivizing the team. It works, right? I get it, it's a problem, but it's solvable. Key issues. Key opportunities. Workflow improvement ties in with, efficiency. I get it, right? Team development, marketing, awesome. This is the first time marketing's made the top 3. Thank goodness, right? You have a marketing business. You market accounting services. Awesome, right? Let's get on the front foot and hire marketing people, right? Let's intentionally develop our team. Let's intentionally solve our workflow problems, right? We should only have one system, one process, not multiple ways of doing the same things. Key opportunities, key issues, all solvable. All solvable, right? We're here to help you solve those, by the way. Click on the QR code. Let's get into it. Results. I'm going to focus on 3. You'll get the full report. I'm not going to go through 47 pages. I'm going to focus on 3 and give some stories, give some content, give some things that aren't inside the benchmark report to give you some extra help because we can't help you all directly, of course. So profit per partner results. Very, very similar to last year. Lower quartile, let's call it 300,000. 25% mark, profit per partner, 300,000. Median, 480, right? This is before salaries, before working capital. This is profit per partner. Not bad, right? It's okay. 696, upper quartile, rounded up, 75%. Life's okay, right? You're not killing it. You're not creating wealth out of that number, but it's okay. Or you can be like, for 4 years in a row, the same top profit per partner at $5.1 million, sole practitioner out of Florida. $5.1 million. Mike and his team. Is Mike online? Ping me, Mike, if you're online. Mike's normally online with this. I said to Mike when I first met him on Zoom, I said, we're not going to coach you. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? You don't need our help. So sole practitioner, 8.1 million in revenue, 5.1 million in profit. Mike is in charge of sales and one partner, right? One partner firm. Totally doable. This is the best result of this group. I'm not going to highlight Mike again. Oh, cool. Thanks, Wendy. Mike's here. Mike, congratulations. 4 years in a row. 4 years ago, Mike was about $2 million in revenue. $2 million in profit. He's taken it to $5 million in profit. Steady growth. Awesome, Mike. Next year, let's get you to 6 or 7. Totally doable with what you're doing. Keep the same model. Don't change a thing. Maybe my advice to Mike is maybe some more admin people, which we'll talk about today, actually. What types of admin people do you need in the business? So let's model what it looks like to make $1 million profit per partner. $1 million profit per partner. These are going to be your benchmark results. I'm going to do it on a sole practitioner firm. If you've got multiple partners, let's say 3, multiply these numbers by 3 as far as the headcount, et cetera, et cetera. So sole owner firm, 1 partner. Accountants, about 6. Let's say 6 accountants. Admin and marketing, 3. So we've got a 10-person firm here. 10-person firm. Client numbers, 200. So groups. So these are going to be business clients. Average project value is $32.50. So every average spend is $32.50. But they buy 4 projects per year. So the average fee per group, 13 grand, right? Not knocking the lights out of it. Just a stock standard small business group. Few tax returns in there. Maybe 401k audit, business returns, tax plan, etc. 13 grand. So we've got 200 of those, which gives us revenue of 2.6 or our revenue per full-time equivalent person is 260 grand, right? $260,000 revenue per FTE, not per accountant. So total melting pot, about 260. So again, not stellar. We're not shooting the lights out here. We've got firms that go to $400,000 and $500,000 revenue per person, but here at 260. Salaries. Here's the killer for most firms. The killer is going to be when you've had lots of people stick around for a long time and their salaries have gone up and up and up and up, but their output is not, right? Their output is not. I'm not saying don't increase the salaries, but as the salaries go up, so should the output in margin. So we want to keep our salary costs around that 25% mark of revenue. Now you can do that with lower cost areas. You can hire, if you're in a capital city, for example, you're going to have high cost. You might hire people from lower cost centers, whether it be a different state or offshore. It's up to you, but you don't need to hire them where you are, right? Shannon Stewart, 100% of her team is virtual. She's got some stateside, the rest are in the Philippines for her. So she's got a lower cost model. And costs itself, right? Around 15%. So overhead, whether it be office, whether it be computers, some of you are getting kicked in the teeth by some of your big technology providers, like a big percentage of revenue. There's other providers out there, right, where you don't have to pay 2 and 3 and 4% of your revenue to the behemoth, technology providers, right? There's other options around there to keep your costs low. So here, we've got costs of about $1 million. So $1,040,000. We've got profit at 1.5 before tax, 60%. We like to get firms around the 50, 55, sometimes 60%. We've got a couple in the 65s right now. As far as percentage margin before partner salaries, get some tax on there, and we've got $1 million profit per partner. So those numbers all add up, right? We've got decent revenue per person at 260. Our cost structure is relatively low. But the other key numbers are the ones below the yellow line here. We do this while partner output is low. In this case, about 500 hours. Where we've got productivity or utilization, the output of the partner is about 500. The accountants, we want the accountants to have lowish time as well, about 1,300. Okay, let's get real here, team. One of the biggest issues you've got is finding A-class people. If you're busting your team at 1,800 hours a year, there's not much of an attraction for a great player to come and join you when they're doing 1,810 where they're at, right? Let's have a different model here. Let's have the accounting team have lower utilization, but the margin is higher. Specifically, average hourly rate for client hours, 313. So we've got margin of the work. We're going to spend a fair bit of time today on margin of the work on average hourly rate, over $300 here. I'm going to show you how to get it over $300. And then for all hours worked is 130. So you've got a different model going on here, different margin. So we've got William, salaries on average for staff seems low, right? That's what you wrote. Okay, so if you've got average hourly rate at $150 for client work, so half that number, you're going to have double the people. Double the people, double the six accountants, you're going to have your margin about 50% of salary costs. So you're not necessarily paying them less, you're getting more margin out of them. Does that make sense? So I see firms time and time again. Oh, we've got, labor costs at 55%, we've got overhead at 15%, and there's a little bit left at 20%. Or we've got labor costs at, 45%, we've got, overhead at 25%, we've got what's left is 30%. Most firms still operate under the third business model. Third for wages, third for overheads, third for the partners. Stop it. We don't do that anymore, right? If you drive average hourly rate, you don't need as many people. It's just straight out maths. We're going to focus on that. Let's talk about profit per partner one favorite place to go in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And we meet Gene and his team. I think Michelle's on here today, the business manager, Gene Hag. When we met Gene nearly 3 years ago, Michelle's here. I love you, Michelle. You're awesome. Michelle's the driver. Gene's just the front man, right? Gene did nothing of this. Michelle, the operations person, drove all this result. So when I met Gene, Michelle, partner Scott, two-partner firm, they were having a loss. They made a 650 grand loss in 2022, right? This was a turnaround situation, but quite a dramatic one. We started working with them in January 23, so what's that, 2.5 years ago? Year one, we turned a loss into a $1.2 million profit. So $1.8 million profit turnaround like that. This can happen fast, team. 2024 results, we more than doubled that to a $2.6 million profit. Pretty cool. Let's hear from Gene on what they did.
Hi, this is Gene from Precision Tax in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Just want to give you a little experience with our time with Rob and Wendy from Profitable Partners. At the end of 2022, we had finished that calendar year with a $650,000 loss and about 40 or so employees, wondering how we were going to make it when we joined Profitable Partners with Rob and Wendy and went to our first boardroom in January of 2023. We immediately instituted changes literally on the plane ride back from our first boardroom. And by the end of 2023, we had turned a $650,000 loss into $1.2 million in profit. We finished 2024 with just a little over $2.6 million in profit. And we're anticipating about a 20% growth this year as well. We grew our team from 40 employees, thinking we were going to have to lay people off, and we're at about 60, 65 employees now, with global talent included. And I can tell you that the immediate changes that we made were instrumental in sustaining our business, but the ongoing changes being a part of the boardroom have significantly increased our hope for the future and our plans. It's wonderful to have 14, 15, 20 other businesses all kind of going through the same thing, and everybody's lending their advice, led by Rob and Wendy. So if you're having any doubts about joining Profitable Partners, I would highly encourage you to do so. You don't know what you don't know.
So pretty cool result. How does a small accounting firm lose 650 grand a year, Adam? That's a very good question. We no need to go over it right now, but we pulled it apart and made a lot of changes in a short space of time. Here's why, right? Here's why they were able to achieve that. They were able to achieve that because of three people leading this business. We've got two very aligned partners. I'm talking about partners, right, and their contribution to profit. Two very aligned partners, and we have a full-time business manager, three, and then we've got another few people as well in the leadership team. But the three drivers at the top are very, very aligned, and it's rare to see in multi-partner firms alignment, right? Often there's misalignment. So I want to talk about a subject that is not often talked about, right? And I'm going to circle back on who had Stephen, about the people. Stephen, regarding your potential team members who don't want to be partners, or you don't want to be partners. I want to talk about partners, right? I want to talk about what makes a great partner, because at Precision Tax, they have two great partners, right? And they've got a business manager as well. We're going to be talking about business manager roles as part of this, because we're going to talk about non-chargeable roles. So you've got partner A here, partner A, two-partner firm, right? You've got partner A bringing in new business and pushing 1,000 hours out the door. So we've got 1,000 hours out the door for the partner and bringing new business. Or would you prefer partner B? Partner B delivers the same 1,000 hours but brings in no new work. Pretty straightforward. Let's go for A. I'm going to get quite blunt here. I find in my 31 years in counting, I find a lot of partners of accounting firms are there for retention reasons not good business reasons. I find a lot of partners are there because of tenure. Let's make them a partner so they don't go. And they don't change their behavior. So consequently, a lot of partners are overpaid tax managers because they're getting a salary plus their dividend. As we look at partners and people and keeping the current team we've got right now, we need to first assess, if you are going to bring on a partner, what does the ideal partner look like? Great partners. And this may help you assess current partners because, hey, if you've got a $2 million profit before partner salaries and you've got 3 partners sharing that, well, if you reduce it to 2 partners or 1 partner, you've got more profit per partner. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Partners. This conversation happened just last week. One of my buddies owns an accounting business. He is a sole practitioner, and he's got 2 up-and-coming youngsters. So Andrew is, he's my age, actually, same age. So he's thinking about his exit over the next 5 or 6 years, his succession, and he's got 2 in the firm that want to be partners. I said, okay, run them through this test. And I ran him through this test, 20 points, what makes great partners, and he made a decision at the end of it. I'll tell you the decision, I'll circle back to that. So great partners, they bring something to the table, they complement existing partners. They're a good cultural fit, good communicator at partner level, good communicator with team members, and of course with clients as well. Because I separated good communicator here because they are sometimes some partners are different with the partners versus the team versus the client. They can be a real grumpy bum to the team where they shouldn't be. All right. Number 6 is stable emotionally and financially. All right. So they're not flighty, so to speak. Number 7 is profit and growth motivated. Profit and growth motivated. They want to move the needle here. Has a good work ethic. Reasonably fit and healthy. You don't want people who are going to die on you, right? It's the same stage of life mentally as you. 10 points. We've got 20 coming up. They share similar values and ethics. They've got an ability to respect others. They know what they want. They're goal-orientated. They're supportive of new ideas. They haven't got their hand on the handbrake of the bus. They're flexible in their thoughts and actions. They'll change. Talk about Gene and Scott and Michelle, they changed on a dime, right? Yes, their backs were against the wall, but we changed that. We instigated, they did it in literally 3 months flat. It's fun to be with. They're fun to be around. This is like a marriage. It's a work marriage, right? They share the vision. They walk the talk, not just talk the talk. They act in the best interest of the clients and the firm always. And number 20, they can bring in new business. So I asked Andrew, of these 20 points of your 2 people you're thinking of, which one and are both there? Or are they both there? He said, one is, one's not. I said, righto. One is there ticking all the boxes. One is not, doesn't want to sell, wants to be a doer, doesn't want to be out front. I said, well, why would you make that person a partner? Why would you sell equity to that person? You would incentivize the one that's going to help you grow the business. So we went back and had a conversation this week with the one that is not going to be a partner. He's going to bring on the one, only one, not 2. He's going to bring, I haven't heard the outcome of the meeting, but it's happening this week. He's going to bring on one that's going to help him. Now, what do you do about the team members? You might say, okay, I'm a sole practitioner. So this is Stephen's thing, I think, where he said here, we what? They want to be partners, but I don't want them to be partners, but I want to keep them, right? I think that's in essence what you're saying. Is what you're looking at is you can still keep the team member if they're a good senior by paying them appropriately, right? Have a profit share system for the entire team. Put them on good salaries. You're going to hear from John Drawdy later on today when we talk about average hourly rate. John's senior person makes $250,000, right? John's in northern suburbs of Atlanta, right? $250,000. Bob Govero out of Toronto. Bob runs a cracking firm. I had dinner with him like 18 months ago. He was on about 10 mil then. He's now on a $25 million run rate. sole practitioner. Bob said, I've just found, he's in Canada, I've just found the best tax manager in all of Canada. I'm paying the person 350 grand. And if we get to 100 million in revenue, he'll get 3 points of the action. He's going to help me get there. Pay the good people appropriately, right, in salary and benefits, not necessarily with equity. So Edward says, traditional accounting model where the partner is also responsible for their own individual business seems challenging, doesn't seem to align with the process. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't align with this process at all, Edward, right? So typical what Edward's talking about, if you read the comments, traditional accounting model is silos, right? Silos. Partner at the top, my clients, my systems, my process. Next one, same idea. And there's no cross share, right? They're literally sole practitioners sharing the rent. That is not a business. Why are they together? It's costing them more being together than being apart, right? That is the traditional model. What we're talking about, Edward, you're absolutely right. We're talking about a different model. Different model means less partners, more non-chargeable people, like Michelle, business manager, more leverage per partner. So leverage being total full-time equivalent per partner. So you might have one partner with 20 people, one partner with 30 people, two partners with 50 people type thing, leverage. And if you've got less partners, then in a different structure, you'll be far more profitable. You've got salespeople hired in there. You've got client managers in there. Partners don't have to do all the work. How do you align partners, Edward? Oh, man. That is we run a mile, by the way, Edward. If we see that, partner A is a go-getter, gung-ho, I want to take this business from 2 million to 10, and awesome, love it, and there's an anchor there, right? There's a big anchor. And the anchor being, but I'm happy with the status quo, says partner B. Well, we will just say to you, if that's you, you go and sort that out, because our help is not going to help. Because any good ideas, any coaching that we give you is going to be anchored by the anchor. It ain't going to happen. Just won't happen. Sometimes, often, a breakthrough happens after a break with. Sometimes a partnership breakup is a good thing. It's difficult, hard work. We had one just the other week. We had one. I'm not going to mention the names because I believe he is on the call, but you know who you are. We had a two-partner firm at 4.5 million in revenue. One partner, gung-ho, awesome. Other partner, anchor, stuck in his ways. I know both of them. They're great people, but one was on point 15 here and 14, right? 14 and 15 and 18. One of them didn't walk the talk, just talked about it. One of them wasn't that flexible and wasn't that supportive. So partner A finds a ex-partner, who I know as well, and says, here's 50 grand if you facilitate this process fast. Got it done in a month. Partner B, gracefully retired. Partner A is now a sole owner of a $4.5 million firm. Happy days. Took the Band-Aid off very, very fast. Edward, it's often difficult to align partners. That is the cold, hard reality. You might be aligned and gung-ho, but if you've got partners as an anchor, it's going to be hard work. It's going to be very hard work. So, discussion about people and partners driving profitability. Let's talk about results number 2, and that is average hourly rate. One of my favorite topics. Average hourly rate is the following equation for client hours. Real simple. Revenue billed divided by client hours. So, Darren, thank you for the note, director of the hosts. Hi, I know Darren McNutt. I'm going to read it out. I guess someone signed me up for this. Great presentation. I can attest this has been life-changing. We've more than doubled the profit of these guys. It's been fun to watch this and see how far we've come. Exactly, Darren. Keep doing what you're doing. Average hourly rate. We're going to drive this number. It is, this number needs to be an obsession of yours. Obsession. I'm driving AHR. In the results of the benchmark report, we had lower quartile at $142, right? Median at 166, upper at 226, best result 609. Big daylight between best result and the upper quartile result. This number is a decision. Now, there's actions around it, but it's you decide what you want it to be. It is not that you're charging this per hour. This is what you're realizing per hour. Let me take you through the progress of how you move this number. Then we'll get practical moving this number, because it's all profitability, right? Here's an example. If you've got 10,000 hours going out the door each year on $150 average hourly rate, you've got a $1.5 million business. If you've got 10,000 hours, every 10 bucks in average hourly rate is $100,000 of profit and revenue. Every $100 in average hourly rate, I'm going to show you to double it, every $100 in average hourly rate is going to be literally $1 million in new revenue, new profit. And it's not about charging $100 more, because there's 3 ways to move this needle, as you'll see. So here's the progression of how you move this number. You've got a waterline in the middle here, and then you've got tactics and strategies below the water, above the water. So level 1 is where you price in arrears. You may be average hourly rate aware, you know what the number is, and you simply put a charge rate increase in place because you've had salary increases and your margin increases of average hourly rate, but your profit margin does not, right? Because you've had a charge rate increase, the salaries have gone up as well. That is practice well, right? That's been a practitioner. Level 2, we still price in arrears, but now we have some average hourly rate targets, and we've introduced some newer higher services at a higher margin to prop the number up. That's moving, right? Number 3, we now have some pricing up front, and as a result, we are reducing our time, getting more efficient, and as a result, we get some write-ups. We're just trying to peak above the waterline here. Level 4, we now do 100% price up front. Every job up front, client knows the scope and the price of every project. Now we're directly incentivized by being efficient, but we still have charge rates, right? So we're still in our head. Black box on the bottom right of the screen blocking some of the slide. I can't see it on my screen. Maybe it's this one here. Let me just test that. Sorry about that, Jeremy. Wendy, give me a heads up. Save on my screen. Okay, what we're going to do, because there's no black box there, we are going to stop the share. Hello, team. Just get out of that. Get back into that. Let's boom, 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 and try that. See if that fixes it. Hopefully it does, right? Bingo. Thank you, Jeremy. Awesome. Thanks for the heads up. Thanks, Keith. Okay, so now we've priced up front everything. We're now driving efficiency times down, and we have it now. We can put we've still got charge rates in place. Can we get the traits of the partner? That's in the slides, Eddie. You'll get that. It's also in the book, right? Sorry, the book, the report. Now, level 5. Now we start getting involved in value pricing. Now we get involved in value pricing, where we're charging for the value of the project, not the time taken. We've got to have everything priced up front. Why do we need charge rates? Go to $1 an hour. But now keep a time budget. Don't get rid of the time sheet. Keep a time budget. And like Tuppy, like that example, a time under budget, we're driving time down. There's a level 6, right? Margins steadily going up. When we put our clients onto monthly recurring revenue, not only does it solve our cash flow problems and the client's cash flow problems, it actually helps you to increase your margin as well, right? Because you're repackaging the whole thing. We have stages, sequential stages to go through to drive average hourly rate, right? Pretty cool. And there's 3 things happening all the way through this. 3 things. To drive average hourly rate, we call the M zone, the margin zone. To drive this number, you've got top line price, you've got internal process, so top line price increased, time down. You might have a 20% price increase and a 20% time decrease, average hourly rate goes up exponentially. But there's a third piece, and that is product. You resell the capacity with higher level product. And so consequently, the average hourly rate goes from 150 to 180 to 200 to 300 very, very quickly, right? And it's all profitability, not necessarily just a straight price increase. Here's the profit effect on average hourly rate. Let's say you've got a profit margin of 40% before partner salaries. And using price increase, process, time decrease, product, new product sold, we're able to get a 60% increase in average hourly rate. Assuming same costs, profitability goes up by 150%. Pretty cool, right? And you can play around with these graphs. You're getting these graphs as well, and to see where you fit. Now, the reverse is true as well. If you've got a profit margin again of 40% and you increase your margin of average hourly rate by 60%, you can afford to lose 38% of your revenue and still make the same money. Pretty cool. You can afford to shed 38% of clients and still make the same money. Awesome. Average hourly rate is big, important. You can use it for capacity planning, where you can say, you know what, we've got a target here of, let's say, $5 million in revenue, and we've got a target of $250 average hourly rate. Then we need 20,000 human delivery hours. So you go, okay, I can plan for that based on target average hourly rate. Or we can do another way and say, you know what, I want $5 million in revenue, but I also want $500 in average hourly rate. Therefore, I need half the labor. So back to the cost of labor before question, higher the average hourly rate decreases the cost of labor in your business. You need to obsess about this. Let me show you the math, right? It's all about the numbers. The numbers don't lie, right? This is called a profit per client model. And in this profit per client model, we're using a simple example, but using those three pieces, which is price, process, and product. So here is the maths, right? Let's say we've got a project, a client that takes 28 hours to complete. The input, 175 AHR, basically where the median is, and the job pops out the end at $4,900. We are going to have a 20% price increase. So that's just bog standard, project. 20%, some of my Australianisms there, right? A stock standard project, bog standard. What am I saying, right? So we're going to change the model here. We're going to have an increase of 20%, but repackaged by the month. So 20% price increase takes us to 5,800 divided by 12 by the month, this standard client. We're also going to have a 20% time decrease to 22 hours because now with price up front, we're incentivized to reduce the time. Reduce the time with better workflow process, solve that issue that was number one on the opportunities and issues list. Now the average hourly rate is $263 for this client. 20 points up, 20 points down, boom, we've added close to $100 in margin for this client. Now what are we going to do? What we're now going to do is go back to the client and sniff out a new project. And we're going to sell that project, let's say $3,800 on value-based fees. Today's webinar is not about pricing. That's like a 5-hour subject. Our coaching member firms have access to all of our resources where they can get that education. Today is a free webinar, so I'm giving you the highlights here to get you thinking about things, right? So we've sold a new project at $3,800 based on value-based fees. We're going to use the 6 hours we got from over there to facilitate this project, and this project had an average hourly rate of $633. Not all projects are priced equally. So now what have we got? We've now got a $9,600 client with the same 28 hours, yet the margin is now $342. We have doubled the margin of this client by pricing 20% up, by reducing 20% of time, and refilling that time with a different project at a higher margin. Double. So what do you do with one client? Do it over and over, as they say in the classics, rinse and repeat, over again. Price up front, reduce time, refill the capacity, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. How much profit did we make new profit from this client? we made an extra $4,700. We doubled the margin of average hourly rate, and the margin went straight to the bottom line. There's not enough obsession about average hourly rate. It's such a driver for profitability. It's one of the key numbers, one of the absolute key numbers to drive the profit of your firm. You need to measure it, right? You need to measure it by period, quarterly, monthly, weekly. You need to be all over it, right? We've got a Sadowski firm. We've got a firm called Sadowski, and they do it weekly. And here's what they do: they measure average hourly rate for their team for all hours worked. Friday close of business, Monday report. If we beat our target, you get this Friday off. If we beat the target that we set for the week, you get Friday off. Guess what happens? They beat the target most of the times. Weekly, by product, by invoice if you have to. This invoice average hourly rate is $63. Why? This one's $250. Why? This one's $400. Why? This one $130. Why? Simply take the invoice value divided by the hours, right? By product, understand the cause and effect. By person, literally on team meetings, name people and margin, right? We're going to drive this number north. By client, we need to understand the average hourly rate per client. You know, if you're at 166, which is the median, half are below, half are above. We need to understand these levers, and it should be increasing monthly. Monthly. Now, for you to move this number, you need to change some belief systems and mindset change. Let's talk about one of them here being top line price. You often have limiting pricing beliefs where things in your chatter, right, in your head, our rates are in line with others. What's that got to do with anything, right? That means nothing. My clients will never pay that. How do you know? How do you know? Client just bought a $200,000 car, right? How do you know they won't pay it? I'm too busy, I'll just charge by the hour. Granted, it is a method to price, without a doubt, right? But it's a very lazy method to price. What if they say no to me? Awesome, I've got plenty of work to do. I don't need to do more of it, but if they say no, no worries. You give them the shot, that's the way it goes. I'm afraid what the client will think. What the client thinks of you is none of your business. That's their business. You've got a business to run. That's the client's. The client is not running your business. You're running your business. It'll probably take X, so we'll charge Y. Yeah, granted, it's a lazy way to think. I can get it done really fast. That's the flipping point, team. Right? Speed equals value. 20 years ago, it took you 20 hours. This year with technology, it takes you 5 minutes. Super fast. Doesn't mean the price goes down. You had to spend 20 years to work out how to do it in 5 minutes. You had to spend the money to learn the technology to do it in 5 minutes. There's too much time on the clock. We better write some off. Why? It's a belief. It's a limiting belief. We need to shift our mindset, right? On this particular topic, shift our mindset. Mindset shifts like, for example, there's always money available. Oh, I've got the P&L, the balance sheet. They've got no cash. Hang on a minute. This business does $1 million in sales. Every week there's 20 grand washing through the system, $20,000. They're making judgment decisions on 20 grand every week. There's money available. It's just a priority of where it goes. Thanks, Mike. Fees are very elastic. Our average is 65 plus. Not too sure what that means, Mike. Mike was the 5.1 million profit. My X years of experience means I'm not need an hourly rate. $1 an hour. Correct. Mindset shift. There's always a higher paying client around the corner. Mindset shift. Fees can go very high. Absolutely, Mike. You just keep pushing until they say no. And there's massive value in what I do. You've got to believe there's tons of value. The price should increase for speed. The price does not need to go down if we delegate down. Just someone else doing it. The price should keep going up until we get lots of no's. If they keep saying yes, the price is wrong. You need to keep pushing and let the marketplace determine your price. And my favorite quote, fees are elastic. Got it, right? As in we keep pushing up 65% up, right? My favorite quote on pricing from Jay Abraham, it is arrogant in the extreme to dictate what the market will pay. Average hourly rate is your decision. It's your decision. Let's go to Paragon Tax and John Drawdy. This is their average hourly rate so far this year. We've got so January 375, Feb 376, 436, 588, 364. Call it, I think it's 400 average for the year. What you're about to learn, John, as a sole owner, doesn't do any work. He's priced it appropriately to get appropriate margin. Listen to John. Well, by the way, we track our results. So we have our firm's report. We have some pretty cool reporting software that allows them to see how they're going against others. Gene mentioned this to others in the group. Meet John Drawdy.
Hi, I'm John Drawdy. I'm the owner of Paragon Accounting and Tax Solutions in Woodstock, Georgia. We've been with Rob and Wendy since the beginning of 2023, so just over 2 years now. In that time frame, we have gone from a little under $2 million in revenue to over $3 million in revenue. So that's been a 50%, over 50% increase. And while we've been doing that, we've only increased our headcount by 20% from 10 to 12. And we have only increased our clients by 10% because one of the things Rob and Wendy have helped us with is developing premium packages that we're able to deliver better results to our client for higher average hourly rates and much higher client satisfaction as well. So another thing that's pretty important about this is, revenue's up 50%, but profits are also up over 50%. And I worked fewer than 1,000 hours last year. And that's not chargeable hours, that's total hours. Fewer than 1,000. I worked 0 chargeable hours, and I don't even have tax software on my computer anymore. So Rob and Wendy have helped us with team structure, developing premium packages, and a slew of other things as well. But another great thing about Boardroom is the community. A lot of like-minded accountants that you can sit down with and hash things out and help each other. So if you're thinking about Boardroom, I suggest you talk to Rob and Wendy because you're never going to know if you don't make that call. Have a great day.
Thanks, John. Absolute gun. Often with average hourly rate, you can prop it up by having the partners do more work. John does 0 work. 0, right? It's not a big firm. $3 million. 0 chargeable time. Let's talk about our next piece, which is admin to headcount ratio and the people. And Edward, this is going to flow beautifully into your question, which is who do you find who are capable to sign off the actual accounting work, and who do you need around you, right? That's the question you're asking, Edward. Who do you need around you? So I want to turn to high growth firm, and this is Palmillas, where you can see they have 40%. 40%, these are the results. You'll see these in the slides. You get 40% administrative count to total head count. So 40%. Here's Jason.
Hi, my name is Jason Parr. I'm with Parr, Mellis and Associates. We have been with Wendy and Rob Nixon and Profitable Partners since middle of 2018. The first year we grossed about 3.6 million with about 750,000 net to each partner, 2 partners total. And now, 5 years into it, after following all of their recommendations and implementing all of the processes and the marketing and scaling everything, we will do about 8.5 million this year, and with about 2 million net to each of the 2 partners. I can't recommend their services enough. It's been, a godsend for us, and obviously the proof is in the numbers. So if you have any reservations about joining Profitable Partners, don't have them, just go ahead and do it. Thank you.
So for this particular firm, a lot of growth, we're talking about hiring people who are not chargeable. They just hired a salesperson last year, So we are now June 25 at the time of this recording. It was about this time last year. And I saw them 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I said, what's Sean going to make this year? Sean's a salesperson. About 385,000. Wow, right? What's he selling? He'll sell $2 million worth of new revenue this year, right? He's non-chargeable, but he's bringing in business. The partners no longer do the sales. The partners were making the sales up until a year ago. So we're talking about hiring people here that take your partner role away from you. So what types of non-chargeable team members? Well, business manager, mentioned Michelle McKay. She's running the day-to-day operation of Precision Tax, full-time. We've got marketing manager or marketing team, full-time, where these team members are generating leads, making us look awesome, marketing qualified leads. We've got salespeople. John Drawdy, who you saw 15 minutes ago, John has a salesperson as well. So someone's got to sell. If you've got part-time salespeople, like for example, partners, you get a part-time result. We've got executive assistants, admin. If you don't have an assistant, then you are one, right? You're doing admin work. Reception, if you've still got an office, you need someone front of house. Project specialists, so people who are doing internal projects to help you run this business better. Technology people, technology team members, with the massive, right, far out, the massive speed of artificial intelligence. I do wonder, right? I don't know for sure, but I do wonder what's going to happen to bookkeeping and other processing jobs with AI, right? Why don't we have a full-time geek on our team understanding that for you and looking at ways to implement technology for you? And lastly, what we call client excellence coordinators, administrative team members to support the accounting team. More administrative people, but often you haven't hired them. Why? Because they're not chargeable. They're not worthy. Hang on a minute. If we can alleviate partner and accountant's time to do higher level work, then the margin actually goes up. You've got to trust us on this. We like to get firms to around 40% of total headcount in non-chargeable people. Let me prove a point in relation to client work, and the last point being what we call a client excellence coordinator. It's all about the math. Let's say we've got 8 accountants here, right? We've got 8 accountants, and we know that accountants spend 2 to 3 hours per day doing administrative tasks associated with the accounting work. Let's just call it 2, right? 5 days in the week. That means each week there's 80 hours of administrative tasks associated with the accounting work that is not accounting work done by the 8 accountants. So bring that number down there. Let's say the office is open for 45 weeks of the year, right? Now you may be more, so numbers will be more. So that means there's 3,600 hours of administrative tasks done by these 8 accountants per year. So bring that down here. And let's use the average hourly rate that is the median in the benchmark report of 166. That means by hiring 2 people, you've freed up close to $600,000 of capacity for those 8 accountants to do something more useful and maybe at a higher margin as well. 2 people, if you charged for those 2 hours per person per day, they're infinitely recoverable because they're still getting charged, but often they're not. But capacity, 2 people, 2 administrative team members to support the 8 accountants. The ratio starts off at 1 to 5, then it goes 1 to 4, then 1 to 3. It's a game changer. As Clinton Fonseca said to us one day, the CECs will set you free, right? New capacity, but non-chargeable people so that you can refill the capacity, grow your revenue, grow your profitability, and reduce your time, right? Pretty cool. Invest in the right non-chargeable. We've got all the position descriptions available that we provide to our coaching firms on exactly what they're supposed to be doing in the roles that we've just mentioned before. So this is a journey, right? It's a journey you're on. For some of you who have just meeting you today, others have rejoined us, have seen before on the list. Others, you turn up every time, which is awesome. The journey, as I said at the start, is going from practice owner to business owner to maybe investor. Maybe. That's entirely up to you. You choose your speed, You choose your percentages of your time. You choose your dollars, etc. There's something holding you back, right? There's something holding you back to realize the firm that you want. It may be pricing and packaging. I'm not too sure, right? Still, everyone's different, right? It may be a communication program to prospects and clients. It may be your workflow efficiency model. Clearly, it's the results we saw in the benchmark report. That's a lot of you. It might be your time utilization model, how you spend your time. In the new book coming out, you'll be able to, there's a whole section on partner time, right? On delegation, really cool stuff, right? Maybe you don't have a database to market to. And maybe you don't have a marketing and sales model that actually works. It may be your product mix. We don't know what we're selling here. And maybe your people, right? Mindset, structure, and performance. I don't know. It's different for everyone, right? Who knows what's holding you back? Only you know that. And a conversation we can have with you to see, well, what's holding you back here? Let's help you out. But beware. If you are comfortable now, you're not going to change, right? Here's what Bob Riggs said about the comfort zone. He said, many of us have established this comfort zone in our lives. We've taken the path of least resistance, worked hard to get there, may seem like a good place to be. Problem with this is once we stop reaching, stretching, changing, seeking, we stop growing. And the comfort zone maybe frame of mind is settling for what you are today. This may be fine today, but without continued growth, you are now all you're ever going to be. And if you're in the comfort zone, beware. It might not hurt, it might even feel good. We've got to break out of the comfort zone, team. There's a bigger world out there, right? As far as I said before, right? Revenue improvement. These are the numbers of the firms we coach. Profit improvement going higher than revenue improvement. And time down at the same time. Time down. Profit up, time down. That's the goal. But that goal, you've got to make some changes, team. We want to help you. We want to help you directly help you, coach you, increase your profit and decrease your time, right? We're here to help. We want to help you do this. You need to be of a certain side. You need to be more than $1 million in revenue. You need to be 1 to 5 aligned partners. You need to be ambitious because we're going to push you. You need to be coachable. You need to be coachable. Let's meet to see if we can help. I've got a message here from, I think a lot of people's hesitation is because they're afraid of spending when they're convinced they're going to get the results of the program. Rob, we just showed you the results, right? The average results. The average results. If you, they're not stellar. I don't think they're stellar. Edward and Robert on a private message says, some of the results you quoted are too good. Well, that's the reality, right? That's the reality. That's what they are, right? We don't make this stuff up. We track the numbers every single month. This is what it happens, right? So trust us now, believe us later is what we say. Let's meet. Let's have a complimentary meeting. See if we can help. Wendy's going to put the details in there or scan the QR code, book a meeting, and let's see if it works for you. Doesn't work for all. We will assess if it's for you. Team, hope you enjoyed that. There's emails coming out today with all the slides, a copy of the full report as well, and a recording also, assuming we recorded this. And as Wendy said, we'd love to meet you and see if we can, how we can help and prove to you about the numbers. So team, I think we've, Robert says, I've met one of your clients. I know the results are achievable. I just think your average viewer isn't convinced. Well, that's okay. We're not looking for average viewers. We want those that are ambitious, right? So that's cool. Who did you meet, Robert? Tell me who you met. In Bazaar. How's this for Bazaar? So played golf with a friend on Tuesday, and he was at a conference in San Francisco last week. And it was a carbon conference. 2 of our awesome firms were there, Paula Field and Shannon Badger. And he said, Shannon gets on the microphone and says, who knows Rob Nixon? And he said to myself, I'm playing golf with him on Tuesday. Very cool. Yes, Darren, we want you too. I'm soon down to one partner. Awesome. I want coaching. Yes, Darren. Okay, team. Everyone talked about, thank you, Kevin. Everyone talked to Wendy. Totally worth it. We love Kevin Bassett, team. Team, go ahead, rock it, have fun. book a meeting if you think you'd like some help. We'd love to speak with you, meet with you, assess your situation, give you some help. All the best. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and see you later. Bye-bye.